real quick want to talk about Exodus, specifically 14, 21 through 22, and 29. If you haven't read the book of Exodus, highly recommend. I don't even think I've finished it, but it's like literally incredible. It's got like incredible truths that are so applicable to almost every aspect of life, of just like every walk of life, but specifically through the struggle and just through the difficulty and stuff. So and this is the story of Moses splitting the sea. I mean, it's classic Sunday school thing, but let's just go with it. So starting in verse 21, it says, "Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord drove the sea back by a strong east wind all night and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. And the people of Israel went into the midst of the sea on dry ground, the water being a wall to them on their right hand and on their left." Verse 29, "But the people of Israel walked on the ground through the sea, but the people of Israel walked on dry ground through the sea, the waters being a wall to the right and to their left." So we've all heard this story before, and like this is one of those things like it's so great to like reread Bible stories and stuff, just because like you never know what you're gonna get out of it. So when I was going through this, I realized I like boxed in like every area that it says like dry ground. It says 3 times. So I made the sea dry ground and the waters were divided. The people of Israel went into the midst of the sea on dry ground. They walked on dry ground through the sea. Okay, so like in my head, I never really was like, okay, like dry ground, whatever. But like if you think about it, like have you ever walked in like a pond or like any like body of water, it's like mushy. Even like a puddle, like it's just squishy, muddy. Okay, so there's that. And is this a sea? That's a big body of water. So imagine like how like the water just sits there all day. So it's just like mud. And the Lord like goes the extra mile and makes sure it's dry ground. Like not like mushy, muddy, like damp, like kind of squishy, but not like your foot is not sinking in it, like dry, like completely dry. Like think of like your yard in Texas, in the middle of the summer, like dry ground. And like that's like incredible that he would like go that extra mile, to like make it dry. And I think that like it's such a little thing, but it really shows like how much he actually cares for us, and how like like just he didn't want their feet to be muddy. And like I think it's just a little sign of like, hey, like I've got y'all, like I'm gonna take care of y'all in every aspect, like even the little things that you won't even think of, like I'm there and I'm in that. So just like, I don't know, something to like apply to your life is just like, what's a moment, what's a time when or just like looking back on just say your day, like where did you see God today? Like where did you see him like going that extra mile, doing that extra like little thing that he didn't have to do but he did anyways. And it's just like really cool because like he loves us like so much. And I don't know, I just thought it was super cool and loved that. So yeah, there's the word. And like I said, highly recommend reading Exodus. It's especially incredible through a more wilderness type season of your life, not on the mountaintop, but every aspect it's applicable. And like I said, like rereading those incredible like just the simple Bible stories, you're gonna find something new every time you read it. And that's one thing that's so cool. Like I was thinking like, oh, like I've already read this book and this book, like what am I gonna do next? Like what am I gonna do when I've read most of them, but like reread them, because like I'll be in a different season then. I don't know, it's just really interesting. So there's that. Hope y'all liked this. I don't know. Bye. So from that story in Exodus 14, 21 through 22 and 29, it also is really cool, just like this, like a side thought, like I've already videoed this, but then I like started thinking about it again, so I had to add it in. But like, this is like God's nature, like that is him, like in his fullness and all that he is, like going that extra step and going like doing that extra little thing and making the water or the ground like that dry, that's him being genuine and authentic. And just the way he is, because like I feel like you see that like all the way through the Bible, just like doing that extra, that extra thing, like when he sees a need, he's gonna make sure you have enough and a little bit extra, just that little bit. Like, I don't know, I just think that's cool. Like that just really shows his nature and authenticity that he is. It's just encouraging that like, like we're supposed to be like God and we're supposed to live like him, and like that's like our goal, is to be as similar to the Lord and Jesus as we can. And like I think authenticity is a big part of their just characteristics, personality, like their whatever. And I think that's like one of the things that I think that goes unnoticed, because you have to read into it a little bit more. And so I'd love to do little things like this every once in a while, as I find things as I'm reading the Bible too, that really show the authenticity and the genuineness and everything that is in the Lord's character and his just who he is and what he is. And I think that's just an encouraging thing, that like, like even though the Bible doesn't straight up say God is genuine, God is authentic, like he is, and like we're supposed to be everything we can close to that, and so I just want to dig into deeper as to like how to become that, like what those things look like, and like things like that. So just praying the Lord gives me eyes to see. May add something else, I don't know, might find something else, I don't know. Another thing that's really cool is it's also in Exodus chapter 17. Seeing the needs of the people is one thing that the Lord does well. And this is about water from the rock. When Moses strikes the rock and water just comes out of it, because the people are complaining that like they're thirsty and like they don't have water to drink. And I don't know about y'all, but when I'm thirsty, but specifically when I'm hungry, I complain and I get grumpy. So you can imagine what a whole village of these people are like when they're thirsty. So that's just, whatever. So like Moses is asking the Lord, like, why did you bring us here? Like, our children and everything that are dying of thirst, like, why did you do this? And then he tells Moses to strike the rock down at the Nile River, and water comes out of it. And I think it's just like showing his faithfulness through the process of like bringing them through the wilderness and everything, and just like he still is good. And just another, that's one thing that he also does all through scripture, is like showing his goodness and like again making sure that his children are provided for, and even that little bit of extra, like he didn't have to, he could have just been like, oh, like there's a spring down the river, like go find that or whatever. But instead he wanted this big like dramatic thing of striking a rock and water coming out of it, just because like he wanted to be this memorable thing of like his goodness again, and just that he's a promise maker and a promise keeper. That's a big thing. He's authentic in who he is and who he says he is and what he does, and so that's really great. So it's another thing super cool, just about the Father. Love that.